tuning in and subscribing. So, you know, that all kind of might work out to some degree. But that's very cool. And then do you buy, maybe I missed this or I can figure this out on my own. Do you buy all sorts of radios? Is it just HTs that you kind of review, or what's the MO?
Everything. I bought this FT710 to review that, and that was just a little bit before Thanksgiving. I also have a really cool video. I ripped apart a lithium iron phosphate battery from Amazon that was swollen, okay, and I found it was half empty inside, and the reason it was swollen is because they put foam in there to make it not move around. So I do stuff like that, and a lot of the guys really like me because they say that, like, I'll review an HT and I'll say, this is absolutely a piece of crap, please don't buy it, and they say, well, you know, I love your channel because you're brutally honest and you're not like that Ham Radio 2.0 guy that tells us to buy everything.
Yeah, amen to that, dude. I definitely pay a lot of attention to the incentive or the bias that somebody might have. Like, you know, there was a day eons ago when I used to, like, you know, I forget, what was it, Ham Nation, you know, with Bob Heil and all those guys, and they'd rant and rave about these Icom radios and be like, hold on a second, who is sponsoring the hell out of this video? Oh, okay, you know, flag on the play. So, hey, I can appreciate an unbiased source of information, so that's great. Super cool. I don't know that radio you just mentioned, but I guess I'll need to tune into the channel and learn a little more.
The FT710 Yaesu, the new SDR, it's technically a down conversion radio. It's not like the 7300, which is just a direct conversion.
I'm pulling it up here. I've never seen this before.
You haven't seen the 710? It looks just like the FTDX10.
Well, I guess maybe. I don't know. I'm not good with model numbers, I gotta be honest with you. Is this a new radio? Did you release this?
It came out last year, about a year ago, and then recently during Black Friday they were blowing them out for like $7.99. And you know, it has a monitor output. It's a smaller radio, like the size of the 7300, with a color touchscreen and all that. But it will look at like 1,000 kilohertz spectrum. So right now I'm looking at 3.5 to 4.0, on the band, and I've got a 25-inch monitor hooked up.
Oh, nice. Well, that's cool. I'm for some reason, I don't understand this. My radio, the pan adapter won't span out to 400 kcs. It kind of caps out at like 360 or something dumb like that. Maybe they'll address that in firmware, but it'd be nice to see that whole thing. I too run a monitor. I think it's a 27-inch display on the wall here, and it runs HDMI in real time out to that for pan adapter display. What cool capabilities to be able to, like, here I am. I got your YouTube channel up in the waterfall just off to the left here. That's really cool. Also looking at this, I don't need another HF rig. But does it do VHF, UHF? No, it doesn't look like it does.
No. So do you have a 7610?
No, it's a Elecraft K4.
Oh, okay. I know nothing about those. That's just probably the limitation of the bandwidth. And I don't know if it can be addressed in a firmware or software update, but like I was down at Ham Radio Outlet comparing all the, the latest radios, and I think the 7610 is limited a little bit, but it's because of the bandwidth that the receiver actually has inside the radio that runs the spectrum.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. These guys are pretty smart, but I'm definitely not alone, and there's a long list of feature requests. The latest thing everybody's talking about on this radio, which was not of any interest to me really until like a week ago, was remote capabilities. I've never had any interest in remoting my rig or running it from the office or vacation or what have you, but they're going to enable radio to radio remote. So if my buddy Steve in Atlanta goes to bed and leaves his radio on, I can, with his IP address right on the front of my radio and a passcode, assuming, port forwarding and some stuff is set up, sit down and my radio kind of like plugs into the matrix and I'm operating his radio, no computer required. So I'm interested to start screwing around with that. It seems like a fun time.
Oh, that does sound quite cool. Yeah. Now they had a thing where you would get a Kenwood 480, I think, and you could do that a long time ago, but it was really primitive.
Yeah, I don't know really much about it yet, other than that they've got some beta testers that are talking in a pretty excited manner about it. So I'm definitely again, if it's that easy. Why not? I'm like, they're developing a PC app and a bunch of other stuff that I'm less interested in. But yeah, direct radio to radio control seems like a pretty cool capability. So I'm like I said, I had no interest in it until all I got to do is do a firmware update. So I'm kind of interested in checking that out. Was that John that jumped in earlier? I don't mean to hog the frequency here. It was nice and quiet when I came along, so I wasn't sure who all was listening out there.
If you're referring to me, John, my name is John. Call sign November 7 Foxtrot Juliet Bravo. Is that the John you're thinking about?
Yeah, there you go. I didn't know if there was anybody else lurking. So usually there's a good group on here, and it was nice and quiet earlier, so I just threw out my call here, and Bram came back.
Yeah, I just got home from my sister's house, just chilling in the shack. I'm just on vacation staying with my brother. He allowed me to set up a little temporary ham shack in this big shed in the backyard. So I got the house is kind of crowded, so I got a bed in here, and I got my snacks, a little mini fridge, and my beer. It's like my little home away from home while I'm on vacation, hanging with my brother. So I'm just getting the bed set up and getting ready to hit the sack here. It was a long day today.
Is it cold in that little shack, John?
It is cold. It's cold out here in Arizona in the winter. It was getting in the 30s, and there's no heat in here. But I'm from the Northwest, so they're all like worried about, you're going to die of hypothermia. I'm like, dude, I've lived in the Northwest for 57 years, man. I can handle a little cold weather.
Yeah. It sounds like you got it all. Well, you mentioned the mini fridge full of beer. It would seem anything else is purely trivial at that point.
Roger. Where's your QTH?
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, well, actually, on the way down, I drove down with a buddy. He's a snowbird. He was actually leaving Seattle. And I said, hey, if you want me to, I've got some time off work. If you want a partner to ride with you, I'll come down. He's like, absolutely. So we drove down together in his truck, and we drove through Los Angeles, stayed in a little town called Lake Forest, California, which is south of LA, near Mission Viejo. We stayed there for about 4 days before we came here, went to Laguna Beach, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, very good. I'm familiar with that area, but not too intimate. I'm in the Burbank, North Hollywood area, which is in the San Fernando Valley, just north of the city proper. And so, yeah, no, the band is a little up and down on you tonight. I'm not sure if you're experiencing the same there, but Bram's been very strong. He even got even stronger here the last 10 minutes or so, but it seems like there's a lot of activity on the band tonight. This is a good thing.
Well, and I forgot, I have this habit of not keying the amp, and then I started to key the amp. So, like, this is the amp, this is not the amp, this is the amp. But I think Johnny needs to get a remote Hermes, that way he could, dial into that thing.
Well, I'm not running any power right now, too, so my signal's probably down. I have it tuned up. I was on, Bram, I was talking to Gary, K6 RME. What's this call sign? K6 RMB. On 10 meters today, armchair coffee, beautiful coffee. Man, 10 meters in the wintertime here at around noon is just a killer right now.
What frequency is he on? I was like on here off and on checking the band scope on 10 meters, and I really didn't see any good signals, and I kind of scanned through, and I definitely didn't hear anybody from Washington.
We were on 28, what was it, 520, 28, 520, and then we went down to 12 meters. We were on 24, 940. So check those frequencies occasionally during the day.
Okay, yeah, no, I was out here at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. You know, I was listening to some guys on like 28, 47, 25 or some weird thing up there, you know, and because my buddy in Oregon was like, hey, can you hear me? I'm like, no.
Roger. Oh, actually, yeah, we started out, excuse me, let me correct myself. We started out on 28, 520, and then we went down to the technician portion to 28, 490 or something like that. So Richard up in Seattle, he could join us for a minute. That was his first, or one of his first contacts. He just got his ham license. He's brand new. Bought himself a 756 Pro 2 or something like that. So I had to like kind of talk him through it on the phone, how to get to the band and get to the frequency and adjust his RIT and hit his tuner. He's brand new to ham radio. So that was kind of fun talking to him from up there down to here.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. That's right.
That's great. Did he go from 0 to general, or did he just upgrade from tech?
He just went from 0 to tech, so we had to go to the technician portion of the 10-meter band.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that. I was listening to 10 meter earlier too. There was some faint signals on, and I'm looking at the logbook here. It doesn't look like I linked up with anyone. That's how quickly I've forgotten things that happened just a few hours ago.
I got some like weird island. I don't know. It's like Corsico or something. I don't know how to pronounce it. Caruso or
Curacao?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He wasn't really strong, and I was like in the house. I have a different radio in there. I'm out in the shop, and I just like casually called him, and he came back to me 5'9". I was like, wow.
That's cool. That's real cool.
You know, when you think, well, they're not going to hear me.
You don't know until you squeeze the pickle and find out.
So 10 meters is really weird because, you know, sometimes, man, you hear somebody and they're really loud, and you think, well, I should be able to make a copy with that, you know. I mean, that should be easy, and then you can't, and you turn the amplifier on, and you still can't.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I had a weird phenomena. There was a group on a 10-meter frequency, and then they faded, and a completely different QSO faded in from between two other stations, somewhere else, in the U.S. And I got on and made a contact with these guys. And then the other QSO started fading in. It was like it was a wild time.
Oh yeah, I see that happen quite a bit. It's really strange.
It's just a good reminder that how narrow some of those openings can be. The fact that those two QSOs are going on in parallel on the same frequency between Ohio and Montana and Texas and Georgia. And they were none the wiser. It was interesting.
Yeah, well, it's weird because sometimes, you're talking and all of a sudden you're just kind of listening and you're like, you start to hear something and you're like, I think I hear something, and then it starts getting louder and louder and louder.
Although my luck is everyone gets quieter, and then I lose them in the middle of the QSO.
Well, like I was saying, we used to talk on 3930, and there's tons of people that use that frequency back east, so the band would shift, and all of a sudden, and then those guys, they did not care. They're just like, oh, we're going to turn up our power and talk over you instead, or whatever, and, it just, because they think that they were there before, and conditions have changed. So, there's all that crap on this band all the time,
That happened just about 2 months ago. I was on a group of guys on one of these frequencies, and all of a sudden the band went long, and these guys were like, hey, we've been on this frequency for like 4 hours. And we're like, yeah, so have we. And they're like, well, what do you... And we're like, dude, the band went long like it has been doing for the last million years. Come on, man.
Oh, dude, you remember the guys like, hey, you guys are bleeding on us really bad. We're 1 KC above. I'm trying to get Hawaii.
6 Romeo Bravo Papa.
That was like a couple days ago. You remember that?
Yeah. I think there's somebody. I think I heard somebody way in the background.
It sounded like Mikey.
November 6 Romeo Bravo Papa.
Is that you, Mikey?
November 6 Romeo Bravo Papa requesting signal check.
Well, I got a good antenna, but it's not good enough. I really can't tell what you're saying. Sorry. This is KG7HVR. I'm in Prescott Valley, Arizona. I hear you, but I cannot tell what you're saying.
Oh, this is November 6 Romeo Bravo Papa. Do you copy me?
Chris, are you hearing him?
No, I have little to no copy there.
All I can pick up is November 7 something Papa. He wants a signal report. If you can hear me, station, I apologize. My noise floor is super high tonight. It's about an 8, and you're mixing in with my noise floor. So the best I can give you for a signal report is you're about an S8 into Apache Junction, Arizona. November 6 Romeo Bravo Papa.
I just looked. I've got an S8 noise floor right now.
Yeah, QSL, me too.
It's usually at 7. Sometimes it'll drop down to 5. I've never seen it go below 5. My neighbors, I think, have some stuff that generates noise. But, this radio is really good about getting rid of the noise with the DNR, but it's like it only can do so much.
And 7FJB Friday, if anybody cares.
Nobody cares. KG7HR.
My noise floor is S7 on the wire, but when I flip over to that mag loop, it drops to like S4.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I've got a little mag loop I made out of some copper tubing and a capacitor that was out of an old B&W TV tester. And I could get it to tune up on 10 meters and 12 meters and stuff like that. It's kind of fun to play around with, but I can only put a few watts into it before it arcs over.
Yeah, this one's receive only, so I don't transmit on it, but I do. It's on a rotator, and I do turn it, and it just goes into the receive on the back of one of the receive inputs on the back of the radio. So it's nice to be able to toggle between my transmit antenna and that loop just to see where I can hear you guys better.
Yeah, a lot of those have a preamp, like a LNA in them and stuff like that, and that's why you can't. But you can build, there's some pretty cool stuff. There's a guy on YouTube, he's got pictures of bananas in the background of his, his video. But he's a guy in Britain, England somewhere, the UK. something or other named Mike, and he's always building he's using a 3D printer to print the plastic and then making his own capacitors and stuff and making mag loops. It's really cool stuff.